Some of you might be anxious about the upcoming general elections, or not. We're all just trying to survive COVID-19 and social isolation. But elections are coming whether we like it or not. So you might as well get educated on your choices, even though we already know who's going to win lah. Okay, let's start with the Singapore Democratic Party. Elections are coming anytime now, and we have a few parties to dissect, so production value is going to go downhill from here. So in terms of important information for electorates, what you probably should know is that the SDP takes on a fairly liberal stance, championing causes like equal opportunity and fighting against elitism. Now that we got that out of the way, here's what you really came for, the drama.
Pooja, what is this behavior?
First, some background info. The Singapore Democratic Party, or SDP for short, was founded in 1980 by the legendary one and only Singapore opposition icon Chiam See Tong. Long before the days of Low Tia Kiang and Pritam Singh, Chiam See Tong was once the longest serving opposition leader and had served as an opposition MP for 27 years. Chiam first contested as an independent in 1976 and started to gain momentum. In the 1979 GE, he even took 33% of the votes against the PAP at Potong Pasir. In 1984, now as a candidate and Secretary General of SDP, Chiam won the Potong Pasir seat against D. Ma Pao Tan with 60.3% of the votes, becoming the second opposition politician ever to be elected into parliament. By 1991, SDP had its most impressive showing yet, winning 2 more seats in parliament, making it a whopping grand total of 3 seats in parliament. Now if you think that this is just a regurgitation of what you can read on Wikipedia, you'll be right, but we're about to turn up the sauce. Just when you thought that political dramas of power grabs and betrayals only existed in Game of Thrones, House of Cards and Malaysia, let's turn back the clocks to 1992. Recap, SDP had 3 seats in parliament with Chiam See Tong as Secretary General. But while Chiam wanted to consolidate power amongst the 3 town councils, the other 2 MPs allegedly preferred to run things on their own. Other players within SDP were also butting heads with Chiam internally. A power struggle was brewing. In that same year, a by-election was due to take place for the Marine Parade GRC, and Chiam recruited the man we now know as Chee Soon Juan to compete. At that time, Chee Soon Juan was a psychology lecturer at NUS. Despite losing the by-election, Chee rose within the ranks and became Chiam's right-hand man as Assistant Secretary General. A few months later, Chee was sacked from NUS. He was accused of using research funds for personal reasons and making false transport claims. We've all been there before. As the head of his department at NUS was also a PAP MP, Chee denied the allegations and said that it was politically motivated. In typical drama mama fashion, Chee staged a 5-day hunger strike to protest his dismissal and made public comments condemning the PAP. Chiam, while supportive at first, was now against the hunger strike and wanted to censure Chee for his public comments. But despite the legendary Chiam See Tong as head of the opposition and sec-gen of the SDP, the CEC, which is basically the board of directors of a political party, didn't agree and chose to back Chee Soon Juan instead. What? Rather than let this battle go, things escalated quickly. Chiam See Tong resigned as sec-gen. It seems petty, but he took it as a vote of no confidence in his leadership, so that makes sense. It was also the only way he thought he could wrestle back control from the many forces trying to take it from him. He thought he could get the party's leadership to fall in line as they would be less credible without him as their leader. It's what you might say was a spectacular show of political mastery. Meanwhile, having no sec-gen to lead the party, Chee Soon Juan became the party's acting sec-gen and then the real sec-gen the following year in 1993. Talk about meteoric rise to power. Anyway, back to Chiam's resignation. So it turns out he was right and the party tried really hard to get him to reconsider his resignation. Chee Soon Juan even wrote him a letter urging Chiam to return as their leader. Chiam was like, sure, I'll come back. SDP was like, yes, great, but Chiam was like, on one condition. Chiam wanted the removal of a man named Wong Hong Toi from the party leadership, describing him as a prime troublemaker. This was the one condition that party leaders were not keen on. Things were at a standstill. This is where things get murky. Both Chiam See Tong and Chee Soon Juan remember things slightly differently. Let's explore. On June 14, 1993, deciding that he couldn't wait any longer, the CEC issued Chiam an ultimatum to withdraw his resignation by June 18 or have it take immediate effect. Chee was tasked with delivering the ultimatum to Chiam and report back to the CEC by June 21st. Chee went to Chiam's office on June 15 to ask him if he would like to withdraw his resignation. Chee reported back on June 21st that Chiam did not. According to Chee, Chiam was steadfast on his condition of removing Wong Hong Toi and it was a deal breaker. However, according to Chiam's side of the story, Chee never mentioned anything about an ultimatum. Jeng jeng jeng. Anyway, shortly after the debacle, the SDP CEC apparently summoned Chiam to a hearing, which turned out to be a bashing of sorts, where he faced a barrage of attacks from members and concluded with his expulsion from the party, which meant that he needed to give up his parliamentary seat. Not one to take it without a fight, the legend himself sued the very party he founded and won the case upon the grounds that the move to expel him without notice made it an unfair hearing. Chiam kept his seat and left the party once his term was up. After Chiam left in 1997, SDP failed to win a single seat and no SDP member had been elected ever since. Chiam did retain his seat at Potong Pasir but under his new party, the Singapore People's Party. So since the drama of 1993, SDP has been led by Chee Soon-juan. He went to jail a few times for making political speeches without a police permit. That made him ineligible to contest in elections from 2002 to 2015. But all is well now. Anyway, that was our inexhaustive history of the SDP. We might do one on Workers' Party, and maybe even the PAP, or maybe not.